Good day and welcome back to yet another episode of Ilomsa Illuminates. This is a platform where Ilomsa share inspiring and remarkable stories. I am Gbemisola Ibrahim and I'm your host for today. With me is the chairman of the indomitable Febrile Academia. Please kindly introduce yourself.
Thank you very much. I'm Mogaji Abdulazeez of the 600 level medical class, and then I'm the chairman of the, like you put it, indomitable Febrile Academia. Thank you for having me today on another episode of Alongside Minutes.
Thank you very much. So first things first, I believe I speak for most Ilomsites when I ask, who are the Febrile Academia? I mean, every now and then we always hear, Febrile has done it again, Febrile has won. So in clearer terms, can you tell us, who are the Febrile Academia?
The Febrile Academia is a quiz team representing the Illinois University Medical Student Association, or ILOMSA for short, and then it is a close-knit group of distilled medical students that are staff personified, or better still as we call it in our local parlance, that are stuffy, and go on to represent the association in quiz competitions. So essentially that's what the club is, and that is what we do.
Okay. Can you tell us what inspired the name, the Febrile Academia, and also tell us how the club came into existence?
Yeah, that's a very nice one. See, frankly, the club's existence is as old as the association itself. And then, the earliest evidence of activity I have of the club dates back to 2002. And that was when we won the highly coveted Dokita competition. So I want to believe that the club association has predated that time. And then about the naming of the club, Febrile Academia. Well, literally, when you say febrile, medically, as a medical student, you think febrile, it has to do with the medical fever. But that is not to say that we are infected or we have fever, so to say. But it just connotes that these are a group of, like I said earlier, stuffy medical students that you expect to be replete with stuff, and then of course they're ready to give this stuff whenever it is required of them. So that's the connotation of the name, Febrile Academia.
At the moment, how many members does the club have?
So like every other clubs and establishment we have, it is a normal thing, it is a common place for you to have active and ghost members of club. And then Febrile Academia is not an exception. We have a lot of ghost members, so I cannot really put a number to the total number of members. But when it comes to the total number of active members, I think we have about 30 active members currently in Febrile Academia.
Wow. Can you tell us what the selection process for new members like?
Yeah, thank you. That's a question many has been asking even before now. So I would like to answer that question in two phases. Before now, what used to be obtainable is that coming into college, there used to be a mandatory COVID exercise for 200 level intakes. And then usually after that COVID exercise, there usually is what we call the inter-COVID competition, post-COVID activity. So in the inter-COVID competition, there usually is the football competition, and then there's a quiz component of the competition. So it is doing this, or after this quiz competition, that extraordinary students are identified and then are drafted into the club. But since the COVID competition, the COVID activity has been repealed by the college authorities, it means the club has to find another way to start recruiting members. But for now, what is in play is that people who are interested in joining the club will just show interest by contacting any member of the club, and they come in that way. But subsequently, hopefully, we hope to use other avenues like the ILOMSA Reward also to recruit students going forward.
Wow, that's a lot, I guess. Yeah. Chairman, sir, can you tell us about your recent wins and recognition as a club?
Yeah, thank you for that. Well, like you would expect of a club of Febrile's magnitude, we've had a series of wins and achievements. But more recently, I think last year, October, there was the NIMSA NMA quiz competition at Bowen that involved all the medical schools in the Southwest region, where we came first position. And then shortly after that, there was also the GSK Emeritus Akinkunbi quiz competition, that is commonly known as the Dokita quiz competition.
Oh, hold on. Was that where the name King in the North came from?
Yes, that was where the name King did not emerge from, because of course, out of all the old northern region schools, MSCs, we came first position. And then that's not the only thing the club has done when it comes to Dokita competition. I think as it stands currently, we are the only MSC aside from the host, which is the University of Ibadan, has won Dokita quiz competition the most. Yeah, exactly. You can say that. Yeah. So we won it a record 3 times. I think the only other school that has won that competition more than us should be the University of Ibadan herself.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, about the interfaculty quiz, can you tell us about the winning streak of the club?
Yeah, the interfaculty quiz is the latest of our winnings, and then, well, of course, like you also said, it's not something anybody was surprised to see because it's something we've been doing for years now. The last one we won about a month ago was the 5th in 6th consecutive edition. And then that means that we've been dominating that competition for the past 6 years. And then I think at the last edition, the school ourselves was they had to welcome with us. And then in fact that also spurred them to make our members represent the university in the upcoming All India University Quiz competition.
I celebrate the consistent club.
Yeah, thank you for that.
Okay, how has the club managed to attain and retain this stellar record?
Yeah, well, regarding that, honestly, it's really not been easy. Yeah, you see, it's very easy for us to come now and talk about our winnings, but you see, the work we put in, it's not really easy work. But I'll give you, for instance, now, the interfaculty quiz, I mean, it took a whole lot of a week preparation. I knew what we went through, and then I believe that is also true for many members of the club. We had to drill even into the middle of the night, of course, sometimes virtually. Yeah, there has been a culture of excellence, and then also that it means that even when we don't have quizzes, we drill every week. In fact, even we use the word drilling similar to the military training. So it means whether or not there is competition, we are always training, we are always preparing. And so this culture of hard work has ensured that we are almost always prepared for competition when they come. And that, I think, has helped us in being successful when it comes to doing a competition.
In summary, this club is not for the weak.
At all.
So, when did you join the club and what prompted it?
Yeah, well, I think I joined the club in 200 level. Yeah, I remember it. Okay, the club, like I mentioned earlier on, one of the mode of equipment for the club is there is usually a inter-COVID competition organized after every COVID activity, and then students are seen following the extraordinary students are selected and then they are directed into the club. So I think that's as far as when I have been a part of Febrile Academia too. I was one of the automatic members that joined the club back then. I did not have to take any of the written exam because then actually what was obtainable also was that you write an aptitude test to ensure that you have a certain intelligence before you can join the club. But I did not have to, because of my very extraordinary performance back then at the inter-COVID quiz competition.
Hey, voila for uno the extraordinary.
Yeah, well, you see, it shows it's a quiz club. You do not expect to just feud anybody. You understand? Look at if that did not happen, if those measures were not really that scrutinized, you can't really have someone like me now heading the club. We know we have to ensure that the culture of excellence is preserved, and to do that, it means we have to keep operating at a very, very standard level. We have to keep our members, we have to keep them to the highest level of standard possible. Yeah, so
that's quite impressive.
Yeah, thank you.
Which quiz outing was your most memorable and why?
That would require a deep thought. Okay. Let me see. Yeah, I think that should be Olabisi Onabanjo University, 2018. Yeah, I think I was in 300 level back then, and then it was just like normal usual outing. I was supposed to represent the quiz club back then, but due to certain miscommunications, I was not part of the delegate that represented the quiz, so I was at the audience part of the competition. It was not really our best outing. We did not win that particular competition. We came forward also. But what made it so memorable was Now, because I did not get to partake in the quiz particularly, many of the questions that my quiz club, Febrile Academia, was missing specifically, and in fact other ones, and they were thrown to the audience. I was answering all the questions from the audience position at the point that the quizmaster had to be like, "Why are you not on the hot seat, young man?" Because I think that had to be the most memorable for me to date.
Since you joined the club, which quiz has challenged you the most?
Yeah, thank you for that. Well, I think the most challenging quiz for me has to be the recent one we had at the Musa Southwest quiz competition. And the reason for it is because, well, a day before that quiz, we had the Professor Ojuawo quiz right here in Ilorin, and then we lost to Febrile University, we made it like the second time we'll be losing to them. And then I was particularly gutted about the outcome of that quiz, and then I was so determined that okay, the next quiz competition, which was the next day, they were not going to get the better of us again. I was so determined, and then I went into that quiz with just one particular outcome in mind: we win or we win, and yeah, we won. So they came third, we came first position.
Oh, come on, this thing requires determination. Apart from stuff.
Yeah. Sometimes you have to show people who you really are, so that at least they have to respect you. Yeah, that kind of.
Okay. Can you tell us how you juggle academics with the running of this club?
Yeah, well, I would not really call it juggle per se, because it's not really an extra activity, so to say. It is just an extension of us being students. You know, I've talked about us going for intercollegiate quiz commission, for instance. Questions they ask are the same questions we do in class, the same topic. So the only difference is that we just have to ensure that many of these topics we have been taught in class, we know them very well, and then whenever it is required of us, we are able to provide answers to many of the questions. So it does not really require any extra effort on our side. Just ensure you are a diligent student. So the only extra effort I can pinpoint is us traveling. And then I honestly do not think that is for me personally, because I love traveling. It's one of my hobby. So I enjoy traveling, and then we go to places. Okay, like I mentioned, the Olabisi University in Ogun State. We go to Oshun, Ekiti. Sometimes we even have to travel as far as the north. I think we traveled to Gombe in 2018 as a club. Yeah,
so from what you've said now, that means the club is also somewhere where people come to bond and also get to know each other better and have this kind of interrelationship.
Yeah, that is particularly true for the club. Yeah, it's, like I said in the beginning of the interview, I said it is a close-knit community. But more than that, sometimes, honestly, it will be very fun with you. It feels like a cult. Because, it's not, aside from meeting every week to drill, like I said, by drilling, I mean where we prep, whether or not we have quizzes. There is also the part where we get to travel to places together. Some of these places we go and we do not return until the dead of the night. Some of them we even spend days. You understand? And then some other parts we spend, days before we get back. Especially when we went to Gombe. Traveling to Gombe alone will take you days before you get there, do what you want to do and return. I hope you understand. So in a way, this has, fostered the relationship between club members, and then it has really made us, so close with each other that sometimes we make life friendships out of just being members of the club.
That reminds me, most of the time when the Febrile Academia goes for quiz competition, we're always seeing guys, the male gender. What about the female gender? Are they excluded from the club, or they are not stuffy enough, they're not extraordinary people to join the club?
Okay, well, on that particular issue, well, firstly, let me start by saying that I want to use this avenue to tell the female alumni out there that the club is not a boys' club. Okay. Neither is it a boys' club. Female alumni are welcome, very welcome. And then, as a matter of factly speaking, we've had female members that are members of the Febrile Academia. In fact, one of our most illustrious alumni to date was a female alumni, and now a female medical doctor, doing very well in our practice. And then also currently, we have female medical students that are part of the alumni. I think in the 200 level class, we have about 3 female alumni that are part of us. And then in recent years, we've had females. The only thing is that they've really not been very consistent. They will come, they will leave, they will come, they will leave. So they are very welcome. The door is open. We don't discriminate.
Yeah. All right. I think that puts our minds at rest.
Yeah, of course.
So, I understand that the club has been under some kind of scrutiny, and I would like to know, moving forward, how does the club want to maintain credibility and balance among its members and as a club?
Yeah, well, under it is quite unfortunate the recent event that happened in the club. But notwithstanding, like every establishment, it is almost impossible for us to anticipate every of these things when we started. So, but I think it is imperative, it is an onus on us that now that it has happened, we have to make concerted effort to ensure that events like this do not recur again. And then one of the things we are doing now is that before now, what we had was just the chairman of the club. So we've decided to introduce a financial secretary as part of the executive of the club. So we are going to have a financial secretary now that will be a signer to the account of the club. Okay, yeah, I did mention before now. What we've not really had an official account. We just use personal account to conduct businesses. But going forward, we will have an official account that will bear the name Febrile Academia, and there will be two signatories to the account: the chairman of the club and the financial secretary. And then, more importantly, whatever the expenses we make as a club, the incomes, the expenditures, these things will be reviewed quarterly by the financial secretary of the association. So I feel these systems and processes that we put in place will ensure that these events do not recur again.
Thank you very much for that.
Yeah,
and what competitions are you looking forward to?
Okay, yeah, like I mentioned earlier when I talked about the interfaculty quiz, our exploit at the last quiz meant that we'll be representing the school in the All Nigerian University Quiz competition that is to take place in a few days from now. And then, aside from that, of course, that is going to be a big stage, as you would imagine. The All Nigerian Universities will be coming to Ilorin for a quiz competition. And then, aside from that, there is also the Dokita finale, the king in the north stuff. We are not done. It's a national competition. And then I think there will be the sequel in Ibadan, where the winners of each regions will assemble, and then there will be a quiz to determine who will become the king in the country, as we put it. Yeah, and it's just February. This is like the beginning of the club, the beginning of the club year. We still have a host of other quiz to anticipate.
Okay.
Yeah.
I hope all the alum sites look forward to that win.
Yeah.
To be the king.
In the whole country. Yeah, of course. Yeah. They should. And we are not going to the quiz to just to spectate. Of course, we are going there to win. That's the idea. Yeah.
Okay. Mr. Mogaji Abdulazeez, thank you so much for honoring our invitation today.
My pleasure.
We really appreciate your presence. Do you have any other thing to add to what you've said so far?
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I think I have a few things to say.
Okay.
Yeah, now, firstly, contrary to what set of students believe, that Febrile Academia is not a place where you learn toxic stuff in a way, because in reality there are no toxic stuff. Yeah. But more than that, it is a place where you come to get better as a medical student, and then more than just passing exams, you get to know your stuffs for what they are, and then the stuffs we deal with. By stuff now I mean medical information for the non-initiate listening to us, medical knowledge and information. Yeah, there are things that you are expected to know as medical students, and then you are tested when you go for competitions on these hosts of information you are expected to know as a student. And then also going forward from here, the recruitment process is going to take a new turn. Like I said earlier on, that what used to be is that following the COBIS activity, there is usually an inter-COBIS quiz commission. But since that is no longer in place, with the return of the cerebral tussle, hopefully in a few months, it will now serve as an avenue for recruitment of members, and we will filter and then we will screen students from that competition, such that whoever will end up as members of this hallowed club and institution will be deemed as worthy and necessarily good and brilliant to represent the association in quiz competition. So thank you very much.
Thank you. Dearest alum sites, you have had it all. The Febrile Academia is a club for excellence. It is a club of excellence with extraordinary people. And what not, you get to consolidate your stuff. Thank you for staying with us this far on another episode of Ilomsa Illuminates. I remain Gbemisola Ibrahim.